he's talking about right there. Oh, that spot. Looks like someone's done some work to this before, because right here you can tell where someone corrected it. Alright, so I've been using the wire brush, and I got all those indentations out pretty well. It's nice and shiny. You can see all those dents really well. You can also see the body hard line from, so see that line right there? We're gonna have to get that gone. Some really good damage right there. But that's all I'm seeing so far as real bad damage. There's that guy, that's a big one. Got back home, I was probably up, so I got this real major dent that was right here on this body line. I straightened it out the best I could with this stud gun. It didn't come out too bad. I mean, it's not quite all there, but I'm to the point where I'm thinking I should stop messing with it, because alright, so that's what we're looking at. Pretty ugly stuff there. So far, it's quite a bit of work. So when I first took this off, there was just caked on like real hard packed mud, and then there's a layer of mud all across, all the way down here, and that's why I went down to here, because I cleaned it out. And that rot was eating through 3 layers of steel almost, because the rot was coming up through here already. So that's the first layer, second layer, and you got a third layer there. So quite a bit of rust. And what I'm trying, and this is the tub, so it holds a spare tire. Alright, so making progress on this, but I think I'm gonna have to end up taking that rear seat out. Hopefully it's easy. I never taken a rear seat out one of these Suburbans. I'm happy I made that decision and take this tub out, because it's going to give us more access. Finish it up real nice, but also there's going to be a black piece of trim covering up where we welded too. So it'd be pretty much like you wouldn't even be able to see the joint unless you took that plastic piece off. But as far as I know, I think he's going to keep the trim on. It kind of looks cool. It's not, most cars have some ugly trim, but this one, it's kind of cool, you know. I think it aged well. The only weld you would see is like this joint going down. But I'm gonna do my very best to make it so you can't. And yeah, I think the new patch that I got for it, that'll actually go all the way up to like here. But I really don't want to go that high, because there's like a body line right here. I don't want to mess with that at all. I like it where it's at. That's perfect. So this, I decided to just do this whole hole right here, because the metal is so far gone. I have the old piece. And right there, I'm gonna grind that edge up a little bit, and there's gonna be another patch there. Yeah, it's coming together really nice. That's the game plan. When I do my new piece, I'm gonna have to get a new nut and weld the nut on. That way it has that. Alright, so I've been doing a little bit of cleaning up to our damaged area. Just a wire brush and the Scotch-Brite wheel and a little bit of the grinding disc. I got it come up pretty good. This area has rust still pretty good. I'm gonna hit it with the Pour 15 metal prep, and that should get it pretty good. Well through primer. I like to use this stuff called Steel It. It's really good stuff. I've had nothing but good experiences with it. I think I got it on Amazon. But I put some of that on there. I'm just letting it dry. Really, what I should have done is just cut this whole thing out here and put it there. But I can't find any of these pieces for sale on any of the websites, so I just made it work. It looks pretty good. It definitely doesn't have the rot as what it used to. I mean, that patch there, that needed every bit of that cut. If anything, I could probably cut it bigger because there's a lot of rot there. It came out all right. This patch I'm pretty proud of. I think that was really good. This one I think I did an okay job on, but it's definitely a lot better than it was before. So, but yeah, I'm just gonna clean this all out. But it was a little rusty there, so I had to strip it, and I'll put some Pour 15, and hopefully it'll blend right in with the Rhino liner. Overall, everything else on the tub looks pretty rust-free. This area here and this area. Later on, I'll soak this in the Pour 15. Alright, so I got the wheel tub back in, and hooey, I tell you, these things are a tight fit. So I got one bolt here, a couple bolts here, 2 bolts there, and 2 bolts there. And that's the one I'm going to drill out. Alright, so I got our bolt here, and I got our nut. I'm going to put the bolt's going in somewhat nice. It's just, I made it a little bit lopsided. I wish I would have centered it more towards the hole, but it's kind of a hard place to drill a hole, you know. So I'm gonna go on the other side and see if I can get this nut started. Okay, I want to put some of this steel lip right where I'm gonna weld that nut. Alright, that way it's gonna be nice and protected. Well, I mean, protected-ish, I guess. Alright, so I welded the nut on. I probably welded it more than what I needed, but I really wanted to make sure it wasn't going to fall off or snap off, because bolt here, like I said, I already welded the nut. I put a nice good old blob of Never Sees on it, and I'm just going to thread it in, and I'm just going to work it back and forth. Right now I have access here to go in there with my dolly, and I have access in here to do stuff. So yeah, it's coming together really nice. It's to the point where stuff is coming together and stuff is getting reassembled, and I'm really excited. So that's the nut I welded, and it's funny, I was saying that they only did like a couple, it looks like they only did like 3 tack welds for 3 corners of that square nut. And funny thing is I was just taking off this tub because I was done putting this nut on, and I wasn't even getting real crazy or nothing with it, and sure enough, the factory welds on this one broke. It's loose. That's kind of scary. I've already made the decision, since I have this one, and this one, and this one open. I won't probably get as crazy as I did on that one, but I'm going to do maybe a good weld here, a good weld, you know, a good weld here, a good weld here, here. Did a couple beads on this one. I did all the ones that I could see. So this one, and these didn't even break, so they should be definitely good, because they definitely have extra support now. Alright, so I got that wheel tub out again. Overall, this piece came out pretty nice. I've saved it right in the right time. I also got this part done the other night. Pour 15. And I got inside of here Pour 15 too. you can't see it on here too awfully good, but there's a little drain hole right here. This was totally plugged up with mud, so I unplugged it the best I could. You really can't get in there. It is what it is. But it's a lot less aggressive than what it was. So this is what I ended up with. I'm not the best welder, so I just got caught up in just doing the patch and doing the job itself. I kind of fell off with like videotaping it because I was just so busy with everything. But here's kind of like how it turned out. I still got a little bit more grinding to do, and I have to go over some welds that I did that just didn't come out the way I wanted it to. But this is the way it came out. I just kind of did like one tack weld at a time. I did I zapped it there, and then we move on, zap it, and I had a wet rag. So I would go over here, zap it, put the wet rag over it, then come back over here, zap, wet rag, come back over here. Then I would just rotate it until pretty much there's nothing left to weld. So, but overall, it doesn't look too bad. It kind of matches the contour of it pretty good, I think. And I've been working on this damage area, and it's a lot less aggressive than what I started with, I feel like. So I think I can get some more of it out, but I just don't want to work that metal too much. I've already done quite a bit to it. This hole is smushed in pretty good. So I'm thinking is I'm going to do a nice little rectangle cut. Yeah, that's what I think I'm going to do. Nice little rectangle cut there. Alright, so I been working on the patch for it. I settled with this. I got a pretty good bend on it. Kind of follows the contour of the panel. It kind of makes a kind of like a little, like towards the down part, it makes like a little angle a little bit, or a bend. So this is just kind of but it doesn't look too bad for. Alright, so I just kind of got busy and I just kind of finished it. I wanted to videotape, but just time got away from me. So this is that patch for that hole that was punctured in here. It was pretty bad. It was flared in pretty good. So it's kind of stepping down from the substrate. I kind of want it that way because I'm thinking the filler will fill up the where it's stepping down. It's only stepping down like maybe, just a little bit. Same with this side. This is all going to get sandblasted, or eventually the coating's going to get removed. So I just put some self-etching primer in there. That way it stays on there and it gives a little bit of protection until he decides to do the paint, I guess. But it didn't come out too bad. There's kind of a little step down like that, but I kind of wanted that way because I'm figuring you could put some filler in there and you'll fill in that step down. But that's right where that joint was at too, and I really didn't want it poking upwards, because if it was upwards that'd be a real bad problem. But it doesn't look too bad when you look at it from the side. I mean, mind you, this is with no body filler, so I imagine whoever does the body work and paint job, they'll probably have their own little thing to do with it. But not too bad. I kind of re-welded this light bracket. This was just all flip-flopping around. Painted the bolts black. Yeah, I noticed like sometimes body shops, they just leave the bolts all chipped up and stuff, and I think that's kind of a little sloppy, so. Alright, I cleaned it up a little bit. Looks a little bit better than before, I feel like. Well, here's that piece back in the truck. think it's definitely a lot shinier and cleaner than before. Kind of looks good. So this is kind of my work area. I brushed everything up. We're all set to go in here. Looks pretty darn good. When I put that tail light on, it was kind of a little tricky. So I think when it got hit, it messed up that one bracket was just hanging in loosely. So I kind of re-welded that tab, and I had to adjust both sides to get it looking somewhat okay. By far, this wheel tab was the hardest thing on the whole thing, probably. Just taking it out the first time was hard, and I had to put in again a second time to line up that one nut, and the third time to put it back in finally. But wow, that thing is a bear to get in and out of this truck, but it doesn't look too bad. Kind of cleaned up this trim piece a little bit. Overall, not too bad, I don't think. It definitely had a lot of challenges. It started off with just that one rust hole, and I thought I was going to get away with just maybe doing a little cut here, but no, it was a lot more than that. Yeah, it was a lot more than that. I cut it open, and there's just a hole. It just, yeah, a good inch of mud in there, and it was some serious rust corrosion. And it was so bad it went through this inner structure panel. Then it kind of really damaged this wheel tub. And that was the whole reason I took that wheel tub out. But not too bad. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable. Unstoppable.